Hey everybody, I actually made an impulse purchase today that I'm rather excited about. Usually when I make an impulse purchase, I'm a little leery, a little reluctant, and worried about what have I gotten myself into. But this impulse purchase is not a fish. This impulse purchase was a couple of plants. The missus and I went to the Home Depot today and Lowe's, and we were looking around the garden center for various house plants. I did find another Rex begonia that I really liked. It's a new one that I've not seen before. I'm not sure the cultivar. For some reason, they only list them as Rex begonia. So that is a Rex begonia, and that is a Rex begonia. So very clearly different cultivars, but I don't know what the actual name of the cultivar is. So they had this one. They had one that looked really similar to that, which we already have, I believe, outside. If not, I will be getting it again this year if it died off. They had this one, and then they had another one that I really liked. So that will be for outside, but I'm going to try to propagate it and bring some of that down here. And so we'll have a little bit of the that really, really cool looking Rex begonia. But the other two things I saw was this. Very neatly packaged with a little faux version of what it's going to look like ultimately. So I got a little pond plant, a little water lily, and if that's what the flower really is going to look like, I'm really excited about it. So that is going to get planted in here, probably down here on this left-hand side, and I think instead of having all of this duckweed and floating water sprite, we might reduce it, and I might have just some water sprite over here on the one side. The duckweed is really difficult to get rid of. Even if I think I've gotten it all out of there, it just always comes back. So we might be dealing with that long term anyway. But I'm going to have a lily pad, at least one, or more lily pads floating in here soon. And the water lily flower, I think, will be really exciting if we can get that happening. So again, impulse purchase, never crossed my mind to put a water lily in this tank. So when I saw that, it was like a light bulb going off. And for me, light bulbs going off is always fun and exciting because I did get one of them today too. But we'll get to that in a moment. The other impulse purchase I got was this. And this is another pond plant that grows marginally. You're supposed to plant it just in the little bit of the edge of the water, and it will grow up and out and give you all these lovely, beautiful purple flowers. And once again, very neatly, smartly packaged with this little representation of what it's going to look like when it starts blooming. So I probably paid as much for the packaging as I did for the seed when you really get right down to it. But what we're going to do is obviously put the water lily, down here under the water. And then the other one I think I'm going to plant in here because that is actually a little basin and the water is about 4 inches deep in there. I also have about a 6-inch deep basin up here, but that's way out of the light and just too far out of the way for it to really make a difference. I do have a lot of moisture over on this side, so it's possible, but I would definitely have to keep them forward in order for them to get enough light. So, moving on to talking about the light, here I've been going on and on about wanting to reduce the light on this tank because I really am overlighting this tank. Not only is that a very, very high intensity light, I leave it on for 12 or 14 hours a day. And so all of these plants really do get, the equivalent of a good full sun day. And that's what both of the plants I just bought need. They're both full sun plants. And here I'm simultaneously talking about reducing this lighting on this tank to make it a little more subdued because almost everything else here is a fairly low light plant and will do much better if I reduce the lighting a little bit. So one of the things I've been talking about doing is sticking with the LEDs, but instead of doing a panel, doing spotlights or floodlights. So this is a floodlight, but it's only a 40-degree beam, so it won't be just really broad. It won't cover the whole room, but it's not going to be like a spotlight either. But that is the important part. You see that 90 plus CRI? That, again, it doesn't have anything to do with the color temperature. The color temperature on this is 5000 K. If you see that PAR 38, that does not have anything to do with photosynthetically active radiation. That stands for parabolic aluminumized reflector, and it is 38/8 of an inch in diameter, which means it's, I think, a 4-inch, 4-inch diameter bulb is what that par 38 stands for. So the 40-degree flood is what we're concerned with. The 5000K color temperature. Oh no, I bought the 3000K, didn't I? Alright, well, I'm going to have to be taking this one back because this was in the wrong row. I even deliberately put the 3000K back and picked up the one next to it, and it looks like we still got the 3000K. So, there we go. So that means this will be a nice soft light. Maybe I saw that bright white and that's what confused me. And that's what I always say, you've got to look at that number when you're picking these bulbs out. If you go by the bright white or the cool white or the daylight or the natural light, there's no standard. Every company can call it whatever they want to call it. And in this case, they're calling 3000K bright white. I would call 3000K soft white, but there you go. They even have it in an orange sort of band, a yellowy orange band, as opposed to the blue that the 5000K light is in. So this light here that we're looking at is a 3000K light. So perhaps I will just try it out and see what it looks like, because that right there is 3000K. It is a very, very high quality 3000K, and that's why I can use it for growing plants. It doesn't need tons of blue light in there, but again, that's going down a rabbit hole that's going to be for a different video. I will be doing a video about all of that stuff in the very near future right now. But the color rendering index was the point I was getting at, and the color rendering index on this light that we're looking at right here, which are also Cree LEDs, and it does indeed have a color rendering index of 90 plus, which means it's a very, very natural looking light. And so that's what I'm going for. I don't want these very, let's do this for a moment here. You can see how beautiful all that looks and nice and rich. But if you look at it now, that is an 80 CRI. Now that's a 5000K light, so it does have a lot more blue in it. But if you look at the color quality and how natural that looks, it does not look very natural at all. You can tell immediately that you're looking at artificial lighting when you see that. And that's because it's got that low color rendering index. This light, if I was to show you that, you would not have any idea that you were not outside looking at something in natural sunlight, because it mimics it very, very well. And that's where that color rendering index comes into play. It doesn't have anything to do with the color temperature or anything like that. It just means how natural is it going to look when you look at it. So 3000K or not, I bought that bulb. We'll do something with it. I'll put it on here and we'll see how it looks. This one right here is a spotlight, and I've got it set up so that I can just move it over. And therefore it hangs right over there and gives me that nice little spotlight right down there. So I could possibly put that one on here. I know it's a 40-degree floodlight, but 40 degrees that close, you know, it's only going to be able to spread out so far, and it's still really only going to light that area at that kind of a distance. So if it does turn out to be not enough light, then I can use it for, you know, very specified focal areas or something like that. Anyway, as I said, impulse purchases. Just wanted to throw that out there before I get to working on this. Once I get the plants planted, it's not really going to look any different. It won't be until they actually start coming up and doing something that we can really see any difference. But I did want to shoot some video letting everybody know that I've got them, and I'm starting to work on the lighting. I also got another one of those lights for my office tank, and I think I got the 5000K for the office tank, but we'll have to see how that one goes too. So look forward to that. There will be some video coming up on my office tank pretty soon. And of course, there will always be video coming up here on my waterfall tank. So make sure you're subscribed, and that way you won't miss any of it. Thanks for watching this one. Hope you enjoyed it. And I look forward to seeing you real soon on the next one.